Hey everybody, welcome to this video. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make selections and save selections in Photoshop. And also I'm going to show you how to copy and paste curves. So let's get started. All right, so to make a selection, we see that these are all of the tools that you can use in Photoshop. So I'm going to basically choose one of these. So you see this is lasso tool. Right below it, there is another tool. This is the quick selection tool. Select it by clicking on it, and now I'll be able to click and basically it will make a selection. But now you see if I zoom in, you'll notice that the selection has gone off. So right here you see it has selected some parts that I don't want. So there's a better selection tool that you can use. So I'm going to deselect by going to lasso tool and click anywhere, and your selection will go away. So now I'm going to right click on the quick selection tool, and you'll see there are 3 more tools. So I'm going to go with this one, object selection tool. So with this one, you'll basically hover over the object and it will highlight it for you. So you see now it shows me what is going to select. So any object that you hover over is going to highlight it for you and it's going to make a rough selection. So I'm going to click on this car, and as you notice it has made a selection. So now my selection is there. So now the car is selected, but you see that there are some parts that are not selected yet. So it has left, for example, these windows. We'll have to make a selection there, and you see there is a car behind it right there. It has selected that one. So we will need to adjust our selection. So this tool is really awesome because you see you can basically click on the object and it's going to make a selection for you. It's like a magic tool. So now I'm going to go to another tool. So I'm going to right click on the object tool again, and I'm going to quick selection tool again. And you see now if I click here, it's going to cancel this selection. So I'm going to press shift on the keyboard. I'm going to keep it pressed, and while keeping shift down, I'm going to make a selection here. So click and basically run over it and you'll notice it will be selected, and I'm going to do it here as well and here. So we have made that selection. Now let me just move this layers panel over so we can see our selection here. You see it has left that part. So now maybe I can resize my selection tool to select that part. And to do that, I'm going to zoom in a lot. All right. So like that. And I'm going to resize my quick selection tool by using the brackets on the keyboard. So if you press brackets left, it's going to make it smaller. All right. So you see your tool is becoming smaller. So you have to make it smaller than that object. And then again, keep shift pressed and select it. So as you notice, it has selected that part. It has gone out a little bit. So if you want to do the opposite, you press Alt or Option on Mac. So on PC, you press Alt, and on Mac, you press Option. And now you see it's a minus tool. So it means that it's going to take out some pixels from that selection. So I have deselected some pixels from there, and maybe 1 pixel from here, 1 from here. So you see, the more you zoom in, the more you'll be able to select it more precisely. So I'm going to press Alt here and maybe take some pixels out from this one here. So let me just zoom out. Now let's go to that car. You see there is this extra selection, I can press Alt again and take those pixels out. And as you notice, at some point, this tool will become annoying. So you see it has removed a lot of pixels from here, from our selection. So now if I press Shift and select it back, you see it has selected it, but not very precisely. So if you want to make it even more precise, you can go to this tool, which is the Quick Mask tool. So if you click on it, you'll notice that the red part is not selected and anything else is selected. So now we can use our regular brush, all right, to make selections and deselect. So I recommend that you right click here and make sure that you choose a hard round brush. So now we will be able to resize our brush by using the brackets on the keyboard. Basically, make sure that the black color is selected for the foreground, and now you see we can add some selection there. So you see we are making our selection more precise with this tool. So this is one of the best tools as well when you want to adjust your selection. So this is it about this tool. Once you have made your selection and you're happy with it, you can go to that Quick Mask tool again and click on it. So now you see your selection is very precise, and now you want to save this selection, because now you see if I, for example, choose lasso tool and if I click here, my selection will go away and now I don't know what happened to it. So now to bring back the selection, I'm going to press Ctrl Z, or on Mac you press Command Z to undo one step. So now my selection is back, and now let's say that I want to save this selection. So to save this selection, what you do is you go to select up here and go to save selection. And now you see this is the document and the channel. So you can choose a channel, make sure the channel is new, and this is the name. So I'm going to say, for example, car. So now I'm going to click on OK, and whenever I make another selection, all right, so let's say that we have another selection here, and now I want to quickly select that car again. So to load your selection, you go to select again and go to load selection. So right here, you see we have channel here. We can click on it and choose car and click on OK, and your selection will be back. All right, everyone. So this is basically how you can load and save a selection in Adobe Photoshop. Now let's say that you want to apply a curve. So if you go to Window and if you go to Layers, so make sure that your Layers panel is open. So this is the Layers panel. All right, so this is the Layers panel. And right here inside of the Layers panel, if you don't have a selection, and if you select your layer, for example, you can go to create new fill or adjustment layer at the bottom. Right? You see this is the middle option right here. If you click on it, you are going to see all of these options. So we are going to click on curves, and when you apply a curve, it applies to all of the image and all of the layers. So you see now if I, for example, adjust it a little bit, you'll notice that it's going to apply it to all of my layers. But let's say that you don't want to do that. All right, so let's say that you want to apply it only to the car. If you want to do that, you can basically bring back the selection. So I'm going to load the selection for the car. Once you make your selection, you can go to this tool again and go to curves. So you see we have applied a curve there, and right here you see it creates a mask on the car. So now whenever you adjust the curve, it's going to only apply to that car or that object that you have selected. All right. So now if you want to save the curve, you can do something similar to selections. For example, you see this is the properties panel. If you don't see the properties panel, you can go to window and make sure that you choose properties. All right, so you can see the properties panel. So now my panel is open. I can apply a curve here. I can save the curve by clicking on these 3 lines, and I can go to save curves preset. So right here, I can name it anything I want. I'm going to say, for example, car curve. And if I click on save, I'll have it saved now. So my curve is saved now. So now let me get rid of this curve. All right, so I have deleted that curve. So now to bring back that curve that we saved, let's say that this is a new file, or could be the same. I'm going to use the same file, but let's say that this is a new file and you want to apply the same curve. So what you can do is you can apply a curve now by default by clicking on the adjustment layer, and you can go to curves. So one click on the curves, and from here you see the default curve is applied. But now I can click on these 3 lines and go to load curves preset. So you see it says car curve. I have another one there. I saved it before, but don't worry about it. I'm going to click on car curve and I'm going to click on load. So now you see it has been applied to all of the image. So just like I said, before you apply the curve, if you just by default apply it to an image without a selection, it's going to apply it to all of the image. But now let's say that I want to apply it to the car again. I can go to select and go to load selection. Make sure that I choose the car. And from here, after making the selection, I'm going to add that curve here. So it will add the default curve. Click on the lines, go to load curve preset, and choose your curve, click on load. So right here, you will notice that we have applied the same exact curve. Alright everyone, so I hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe